want to know what happened to America, it's led to here. We're talking about, we'll find out a bunch of people will say anything they want to push well, it's an agenda, we can find out the roots of it. Let's get into that. Let's get into the law about what this is and whether or not it may be valid against us. And some of you may think it is. And I'm not saying it's a question. You may think it's best to go ahead, if you can, get the permit, and just be underneath and subject to its guidelines. So, now, is there any questions up till now about a permit? I'm going to talk about a permit that limits dredges for gold. Anything right now to this level that's misunderstood about what I just said? No, we haven't gone anywhere, so that's kind of hard to place it. But I mean, you understand Drinking Water Act was an act to pollute the water. There's guidelines. The section in it that have provision for 2 different permits.
They might meet up with the fine permit.
A permit is a permission to do an illegal act. A license is a permission to do an illegal act. Or something that's permission to do commerce where it's not a right. I say that particularly, I thought about that because what we do is commerce, but it's a right. So that's another input. Again, I didn't think about that before, so it just comes up to now. That's a very interesting little specialty, but not so special that it's a made-up thing. You can find it in the law. So a permit is a permission. It's not a grant. It's not what we enjoy in the mining law, the locatable minerals. Permission to do an illegal act, permission to do commerce where it's not authorized, and otherwise it's not a right. It has constraints built into it. And if you notice that the 700J permit they're talking about, now I haven't read the new one. I pretty much stopped reading because I found out 5 years ago they're not relevant to what I do. I found out there's a fraud that goes on when you get these permits by your application. Some of you have been here long enough to know what the word application means. It's applique.
You're applying yourself.
You stick it to you. It's serious. I try to make a little bit of humor here, but it's a serious humor. It's factual. It's how you understand how it works. You stick it to you. You see that when you get the permit signed by the applique, but you stick it to you, it only applies to the permit issue. Those who have the permit holder is subject to all this. The quick question came to me, what if you're not a permit holder, and then am I required to get the permit? 5 years ago we were told, well, no, you don't have to get the permit. Okay, so there's no requirement, there's no penalty for not. This starts to divide the law down real specific, real quick. Let's get into the story a little bit. This is a story. I don't think there's a bit of law into it. There might be some facts that are relevant, only to explain that there's certain numbers that happen and certain ideas that are out there. The fact is, it's a 25-yearly permit. It includes long-standing prohibition against the harming water quality in 12 federal wilderness areas established before 1972, including Kalmiopsis, Road River, Siskiyou Forest National Forest, where Washington real estate developers trying to create a gold mining reserve. That's the first hit, the hit piece. They're after a gentleman who's a miner on a patented land in the Kalmiopsis. They want him out. They want you out of your land. And that's what this is a hit piece over.
What's his name?
His last name is Rutan. Dave is the first name thing I was going through, and then called this name. Dave Rutan. I think we've met him at some of the gold things. I talked to him a little bit. Don't know much more about it, except I do find out he had patented land. Then he wanted to get bought some claim. So we know about the claim side. What I wanted to point out to you is this one standing here. Now moving. This permit, they're bringing in a lot into this permit that's actually some state imposition. But let me remind you, nothing that the state does as a law, a rule, a regulation, a guideline, can come in conflict with the laws of the United States. And in particular regarding mining. Okay? Remember, that's right in the 1866 grant. And again, those of you who want to see the origination of the grant, the expression of the mineral estate granting of the Congress to us, go to www.grantedright.com. I have a lot of people asking me tonight. Grantedright.com. Go to the law page. Real simple website. Go to the law tab, and you'll see Section 8 is highlighted because this is actually done for the Jim Siegel people. When Jim Siegel was gracious enough to let us go in and get the highway rights explained, which that group was part of what we did here, and we were able to notice all those programs and projects the BLM had going, all disappeared, didn't they?
Yep.
Wow. Can't tell you who did that. but they're gone. I won't take credit, none of us should, but they're gone. I wonder why. So there's a lot that they built into this permit that's not part of the permit, that if there was, and it comes in conflict with the laws of the United States, particularly regarding mining, and you can find again 1866, which was amended in 1870, amended again in 1872, our current formulation of the law,
Website again.
grantedright.com.